It's a little hard to pin down the direction of last week's episode of The Oval, but I have to confess that this was definitely a filler episode as we see a lot of the characters struggling through situation after situation, scene after scene, ignoring their true feelings and suppressing their emotions, all to save face. This will be my recap of Tyler Perry's The Oval Season 4, episode number 10, titled Truth Be Told. Now, in our opening scene, we see David struggling to put two words together as he tried to figure out what exactly has Jason done to him. And in the last episode, Jason stirred in painkillers inside of his coffee with his bare fingers. So needless to say, this made David very weak and incoherent. So as soon as the opportunity presented itself, Jason took advantage of and pulled out a knife and stabbed David right in his heart, which probably killed him. And this was a bit hard to watch because initially David was this strong, no-nonsense, military-trained warrior. And now he's being taken out by a lightweight, Jason. Gotta be, $150 soaking wet? And I couldn't believe that I was watching this. And as he was trying to stab David, he was saying, I've done it once and I'll do it again. I'm sure that he had to be talking about Jean here. And I just don't see how this kid was able to just overpower this strong, brute, athletic soldier, right? And I say he's a soldier because Sam put him up to this. Sam is the one who hired him to take care of Jason. Now, if he's just gonna go out with some painkillers in his coffee by little old Jason, I don't know how much of a soldier he really is. And meanwhile, Alan is on the phone with Donald, carefully listening to his instructions for the day. And Alan is still recuperating from all that has happened. He's exhausted and he's still a little bit confused about what's going on. And he even has the same clothes on, right? But Donald, he said, never mind all that. I need you here at work and I need you here right now. But he can't get into the office without Alonzo stopping by to let him know that he doesn't believe a word of what he's being told about everything. And we've seen this somewhat play out before. Remember last season when Alonzo came over, Alan desperately told him how he felt about what was happening with Ellie and how he didn't believe that she was killed by a stray random bullet. And now we see the same situation repeating itself, but this time Alonzo is talking about everything that's going on at the White House instead. But Alan told Alonzo that he had been told that Grip was seeing Ellie and that he killed her. He told him that he saw pictures and video and believed every word that came out of Donald's mouth. Unbelievable. And while everybody is preparing to come back to work, Victoria is on the phone with, I guess, one of her local constituents, and they're offering their condolences about Jason when Priscilla walked in. And Victoria is very shocked to see Priscilla back at work, and she was even more shocked to know that Sam was there as well. And their sarcastic responses and their tone of voice, it underlined the animosity that continues to grow between these two. And this is something that we should be used to by now, right? From last season. And they're both pretending that their presence doesn't get up under each other's skin, right? And I really wish Priscilla would just tap the cabbage one good time and call it a day. I want things to change between these two. I really don't want to go through the entire half of season 4 with them going back and forth about Sam, like two junior high school cheerleaders. So after Victoria got Sam off of her breath, Hunter entered the room and he wanted to know what she did with Jason. He wanted to know if she ever looked at Jason's face when she poisoned him in the hospital. We have to bear in mind that Victoria has no idea that Jason is still alive and she thinks that she's gotten away with murder, as Hunter's still trying to figure it out because he really don't know what's going on for real. He's just speculating on a lot of this stuff. Next, we have Simone and Eli preparing to go to the White House to apologize. And this is a moment where Simone has to profess all of her love for Eli, right? Because it would make perfect sense to do this right now, right after he just smashed Victoria a few hours ago. Richard is off to work to talk to Sam, and Dale is there to pick Sharon up. Nancy told Richard that she was beginning to worry about Barry, but she finally did get somebody to sit down and eat a plate of her food. Max and Bobby are on detail for the second family, there to safely take them to Hunter and Victoria to apologize. And after they joked around about taking Kyle and Hunter out on a 2-for-1 deal, Bobby expressed his true feelings for Lily. Turns out that Lily hadn't called him and he's feeling away. But little does he know that Lily's trying to keep everybody safe. She knows that if she even thinks about reaching out to Bobby, that Donald is going to start with the threats that he has for her family. But for some stranger than odd reason, Donald will let her go to the pharmacy, but he won't let her go to the hospital. She went right into the pharmacy to pick up the drugs. She walked in, no security, Nothing. And I just found this to be a bit odd considering how tight the leash Donald has around her neck. But it turns out that she got in there and she left a purse in the car. She begged him to let her just take the pills because she was in a lot of pain. And then she collapsed right there in Kareem's arms. And I really don't see why Donald let her go to the pharmacy like that when all he had to do was just ask the doctor to bring the meds over to the house, like he's been doing like for the past 2 or 3 episodes. But Lily got all emotional when she took the pills, and Kareem sensed that she was in danger and suggested that she join this Narc Anonymous group. But Lily declined, but decided to sit around the pharmacy for a little while just so that she could calm down. Nancy and Sharon discussed Barry's possibility of going back to the cult, and Nancy got the address from the insurance company. She wanted to know if this is the address of the cult, and she wondered why Ruth would even go there in the first place. But she has to understand that Ruth may not have known that the cult was as deadly as it is when she first joined. But this is something Nancy should have known already when Ruth came to the hospital to visit Barry. Remember that? But I don't know, maybe she forgot. But then she started questioning Sharon about who can make it up to the gate and who can't make it up to the gate. So Sharon knows that Nancy's thinking about paying the compound a little visit. And I also talked about Nancy going to the compound in one of the synopsis videos, and I'll leave it right here linked above if you haven't watched it. Go ahead and check it out. In our next scene, Donald and Alan have a tender moment in his office when Kyle came in with his claws out. Donald is fake pretending to love Alan, saying he's going to protect him, that no one's going to hurt him. And of course, I think this is all a boatload of crap. I mean, he's just trying to get Alan to play for the other team. Donald going to have them all fighting over him after a while. Donald is a pimp, okay? The vice president and Simone arrived at the White House finally, and it took every ounce of patience and self-control that Max had to not wrap Kyle around one of those White House columns. Bobby and Max were cordial, they were professional, and they conducted themselves quite appropriately. So yeah, looks like Victoria's plan worked like a charm to get Alan and everybody else back on track with all those lies, just to get everybody to come back to work. The second family made it up to the residence to apologize, and they have Langley to thank for that, for filling them in on all the details about what Jason did. And here come Eli with this 3-point plan to share with all the cable news networks to clear Hunter's name so that all will be well in the White House again. I just cannot believe all of this is happening and how they have turned this around, and everybody's believing them. Well, not everybody, but most of them, they believe them. Hence, while everybody is back at work. And while he's there desperately pulling together a poor piss apology, Nancy's at the compound trying to see if she can get a glimpse of little Callie and hopefully find Barry, I'm sure. We can't forget that all of this is Nancy's fault. Anyway, it's all her fault because she let Ruth into the house 4 seasons ago, right? But before she can get out of the car and make it over to the little Callie, she got stopped by one of the guards who thinks she's from the government. And of course, he's not going to let Nancy leave. And this ended the scene. Now, overall, this episode was pretty decent, and one of the more interesting moments is just watching Max making decisions to power through situations and to just do as he should and not as he felt, because he knew that if he acted on impulse, that he may have just put everybody's life at risk. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think about this episode down below. And if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You know I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of The Oval, go ahead and sub to the channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Ruthless TV, you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.